What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to talk about a Twitter exchange, and this was between the White House, President Biden, and Rick Scott, Senator Rick Scott out of Florida. And I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm going to read the Twitter back and forth, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this. And I want to ask you guys at the very end how you feel about this. What do you think this will mean for Social Security? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about money and retirement. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so first off, if you're watching this video and you didn't get a notification, you just saw it on your feed when you opened up YouTube, make sure you subscribe first off. That's how you'll get a notification. And you also have to hit that little bell notification. And I know we say that and people, you know, I say it in every video, so it's kind of, I want to remind people that's the way that you'll get notifications. So if you're not getting a notification, make sure you do that, or you're not going to get notifications in the future. And then also, if you've hit that little bell notification in the past, just periodically go through to make sure that it's still filled in, because what happens sometimes, for whatever reason, people hit the bell notification. They've told me this. They've hit the bell notification, and it's not, it shows that they hadn't hit it before. So just go back, take a look at it just to make sure. That way you'll get notifications. I've had people telling me in the last couple of weeks they're not getting notified when I post videos. So make sure that's the case when it comes to the bell notifications. Very, very important. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this back and forth, this Twitter back and forth. This is coming from President Biden, and there was a response by Senator Rick Scott. So let's read President Biden first. Senator Rick Scott wrote the only election year plan the GOP has this year. In it, he wants to require Congress to vote on the future of Social Security every 5 years. Do you want to put Social Security into the hands of Ted Cruz and Marjorie Taylor Greene? So that was President Biden. Okay, so now let's look at the response. This you at Joe Biden. If Congress isn't forced to fix it, Social Security will go broke in 2035. You're damn right that I have a plan to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so you saw the back and forth. So we have Senator Scott, and just to let you guys know, he has a 12-point plan, and part of his 12-point plan is to sunset Social Security in pretty much all programs, all government programs, sunset them after 5 years. And what that would mean is that Congress would have to vote to keep these programs going. And so you're going to have a back and forth. It's not going to be something that's automatic. And so you can see how this could be problematic, because we're looking at a situation where Congress, they can't agree on anything. Let alone what we're going to be seeing this month. They're going to be talking about the budget. As soon as they return, they'll be returning next week. They're going to be talking about the budget for 2023, and there's going to be a back and forth. It's going to go to the 11th hour. I'm telling you already, this is what's going to happen, because it happens every year, and we could see a government shutdown. So that's what's in our future. And now you have a senator saying that he wants to have this all social programs, all programs period, when it comes to the federal government, he wants them to sunset after 5 years, and we'll have to have Congress figure out if they want to continue with these programs. Very, very dangerous. You have millions of people receiving Social Security right now, and it's detrimental that they continue to receive Social Security. Could you imagine if Congress had that in their hands, where they had to go back and forth and vote and try to figure out if they're going to keep the program? And if that was the situation and they had to shut it down for a couple of months, just think of how tragic that would be for a lot of people. And so Senator Scott's plan to sunset these programs, and not just Social Security, we're talking about Social Security, Medicare, all the different programs that the government has, that would just be an absolute disaster. And let alone, we have Congress that goes on recess every month. We know that. So when I say goes on recess, I don't mean that they're going on vacation, but what I do mean is they're going back to their home district, so they can't vote on things in Washington, D.C. So could you imagine if you had all these different programs that Congress had to vote on, but they're going to be going to recess every month? It just would not work. So that was a back and forth between them. And I'm just asking you guys, how do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about Rick Scott's plan? Do you think this is something that would be beneficial for Social Security? And then there was another thing that he said in his tweet that really, really bothers me. And you hear politicians say this all the time, that Social Security will be going broke. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you have $100 in your bank account and you lose $23 of that $100, Are you broke? Did you go broke? No, going broke to the average person, if you say, yeah, I went broke, that means you lost everything. And so Senator Scott saying that the program will go broke gives you the illusion that the program will have no money left over. And so there won't be a program. Social Security will end at that point. And that is just not the case. And I keep repeating this just because I want people to understand that we're talking about the trust fund. The trust fund will go broke. That is true. But Social Security will not go broke. It will still exist after 2035 if they do nothing. And so he's making this situation look like it's worse than what it is. And we have to call people out on that, because the one thing that we want to happen is we want them to address the trust fund issue. Okay, so that's about 23% of the money that's going into Social Security right now is coming from the trust fund. The rest of the money is coming from the payroll tax. People are working, they're paying into the payroll tax. That's the money they're using for benefits. Okay, so we want to make sure we get that right. It's very important for us to get that right and to understand it, because you're going to have a lot of people right now who are working and thinking, why am I paying this payroll tax? Because Social Security is not going to be there when it's time for me to collect. And that is just not true. And so that needs to be, we need to talk about it along those lines, because if you don't, then you're going to have this revolt. You're going to have people that are going to say, you know what, I'm voting for this candidate, and I want this candidate to change Social Security, privatize Social Security, do something different with Social Security, because it will be going bankrupt. And that is the danger, because if you have that type of a situation, you're going to end up with something that most people won't be happy with. They're going to look at a situation where Social Security is now going to be just like a 401k, or just like some of these other retirement plans, where it will run out. It will run out of money. The at least good thing that we can say when it comes to Social Security right now, when you get on Social Security, you can have it for the rest of your life. You can't say the same thing for a 401k. You're going to have it until that money runs out, and then you're done with it. But what Senator Scott is trying to make it seem like, he's trying to make it seem like it is like some type of 401k, where you'll have it for a certain amount of time and then it's going to run out. So I agree, and I think everyone agrees, that we need to address the trust fund. We need to find a way to fund that trust fund so they won't lose people on Social Security. They're not going to lose that 23%. But don't say that it's going to go broke, because that's just not true. And if you're saying that type of stuff, then you're flat out lying. And should we trust someone that's just going to flat out lie to us? Should we trust them with improving Social Security if they're lying about Social Security up front? And so we're going to continue to hear more and more about Social Security, because it is an election year. We have a couple months to the midterm, and politicians are going to be going back and forth talking about this, because it's a hot button issue. I don't know what the plan is for Republicans when it comes to Social Security. We pretty much know what Democrats want to do. I've talked about the platforms before, and you have to look at the Democratic platform, the Republican platform. They're not the same. They are different when it comes to Social Security. Republicans have gone as far as saying they want to address the trust fund only. They do not want to expand Social Security at all. They don't want to expand Medicare as well. Now, Democrats have said they want to expand Social Security and they want to expand Medicare. Now, when I say expand Social Security, what I'm saying is they want to have some type of a raise for Social Security. So that's what Democrats want to focus on. They want to focus on expanding, whereas Republicans have not talked about expanding Social Security at all. And the Republican solution as of right now, the only real solution that they put on the table is they want people to work longer. If you work longer, then that will help when it comes to the trust fund, because if you're working longer, you're paying into the payroll tax. And if you're paying into the payroll tax, then that's more money for more benefits, right? For more to keep the trust fund going. And so as for Democrats want to raise taxes on the wealthy. So they want to raise taxes on people making $400,000 or more. And that will pay for the trust fund, as well as pay for the expanding of Social Security and Medicare. And so that's where we are. That's where we are right now. Now, the danger that I see in the near future is if we do go into a recession and people stop working, like if we have a situation where there are less jobs out there, less people working, that is going to be detrimental for Social Security as well, because that would mean less money going in, less payroll tax collected. And we have less payroll tax collected, that means the benefits are going to suffer. And that means the trust fund could get to a point where the trust fund is actually, they're talking 2034, 2035. It could move even closer to maybe 2032 or 2030. And so that's always a fear with this recession that's looming over our heads. So that's something that we're going to have to really look deeply into. But we're going to hear more. We're going to hear more politicians coming out talking about Social Security on one side or the other. So stay tuned for that. But I want to know how you guys feel about this. How do you feel about Senator Scott? Do you think Senator Scott has a plan, and it's a viable plan for us to look into the program every 5 years? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.